Tippy time my damies, Topcat here and welcome back to the channel. When we first saw Strand gameplay pre-Lightfall, I'm sure many of us were thinking the same thing when we were thinking of the Khepri's Hornet's interaction with Strand. But the interaction between the Solar Rampart and the Strand Lashes is better than I had actually hoped. This build is about cycling barricades, gunplay, grenades and tangles for a destructive loop that provides strong offense and defense at the same time. I was running in some Nightfalls earlier and I still outscored Striga Necrotic Grip Warlocks with ease. There will be a dim in the description below, thumb it if you liked it. That being said, let's start with the Drenger's Lash Aspect and the Khepri's Horn Exotic. Both of these emit an attack when we activate our barricade. The Aspect's Lash chucks out a suspension wave to hoist and humiliate all hostiles. It both damages them and will convert them into a tangle upon their demise. The Khepri's Horn throws out a solar wave that will double back on itself and apply more damage. You want to try and trap the targets halfway in the middle of its maximum range so that the flame can travel back for them for the kill. Secondly, for this build we want to try and maximize our tangles using Threaded Blast and Untangler in the artifact. Untangler, destroying a tangle with a strand weapon, suspends targets damaged by the explosion. Threaded Blast, destroying a tangle with a strand weapon, creates a larger and more damaging explosion. So what I do is I generally use the barricade combo to Gimp Puppet and kill all our foes to create our initial tangle, then shoot that tangle to make more macabre marionettes, mowing them down with your favourite strand weapon from behind your rally barricade. Now there's tons of good strand primaries, but I'd have to say I was loving the Quicksilver Storm personally, and the Circular Logic was a pretty damn decent LMG with target lock on it. Throw on Allied Unraveling. For rapid final blows with a strand weapon, grant your weapon unraveling rounds. This is also for a longer duration when you're close to allies. Thread of Mind, defeating suspended targets will grant us class ability energy. And with just 2 to 3 bad guys destroyed, this build should return your barricade right back to you. And for our grapple, Thread of Generation, dealing damage from any source will generate grenade energy. This way with a few kills you'll have your grenade back to you in no time at all. This fragment is an absolute powerhouse and can feed your grenade back in as little as 5 seconds. I'm going to recommend Thread of Warding and Concussive Dampeners. We pick up an orb to get that damage resistance for 10 seconds whilst we are in the air, and the dampeners will give us that damage resistance whilst we are on the ground. Our Thread of Continuity, Suspend, Unravel and Sever effects applied to targets have an increased duration. Now this build has 2 forms of suspension, multiple ways to unravel, and has unraveling rounds. And with 3 melees worth of sever, this makes this fragment a great overall buff for this Horny Devil. We got both utility kickstarts and Reaper mods on our class item. By pairing Thread of Mind with the Kickstarter mod, this will allow us to spam that barricade more frequently and will give us easy and reliable source to unstop. And the Reaper mod is going to make us an orb on weapon kills after using our barricade so we can easily loop the Kickstarter. Pair this with Grenade Kickstarter, Heavy Handed and Firepower. Now we've got a second Kickstarter chain that feeds 2 orbs for our Grapple Punch. I've got 1 Insulation mod to reduce our class ability cooldown on orb pickup. And Bomber 2 will help reduce our grenade cooldown when we are thrashing out our endless barricade barrages. Better already, your health begins to regenerate immediately after picking up an orb of power. This way we can use both our grapple melee and our standard melee to heal ourselves. We're using a combo siphon mod on our helmet for orb production across all our weapon types. With strand weapons in season 20 pretty much having a full-time overcharge, and both solar and void cycling weekly, this combo mod is a great option to maximize your weapon orb production. On Void Weeks I'm also running Volatile Flow. Pair this with your favorite Void weapon to make not only more damage, but an easier barrier break. We've got 4 great strand ARs and subbies available to us for overloads, and unlimited barricade production for easy unstops. All champs will be made chumps on this build. Whilst this build might not be the absolute S-tier GM Slayer, this Horny Devil can still destroy with ease, and more importantly, the grin you get when you get that killing frenzy detonation is worth its weight in gold. If you like the build, I'll leave a dim in the description below, thumb it if you do. Any questions and suggestions are always welcome down below, and until next time, tippy time my damies, what a tie.